Yeah, I think when you take on this job of being a professional basketball player, whatever city you go to, it's your duty to dive into the community and kind of immerse yourself and embrace yourself into what is going on around here. Obviously, I think all of us can envision what we were like at from 8 to 13 years old with the Boys and Girls Club coming through and watching us play. And I think back to how much of a cool opportunity it would have been for me if I was a young kid being able to watch my local NBA team play. So you really cherish these moments because you can really peel back the onion and think about when you were a young kid and what it was like and how much joy it would bring to you to play in front of or watch a professional basketball team play.
How excited are you just to continue the preseason, but also inching closer to the regular season? What that's going to mean for you guys?
Yeah, I think we're all chomping at the bit to get going. I mean, obviously preseason, you got to work through things, whether if it's the kinks of the offense, the defense, all those things. But I think all of us are excited to finally get the year rolling. Obviously, we have 2 preseason games left, so we're going to handle those, one at a time. But I think everybody is excited for the real thing.
Kenny emphasized how you're going to be a connector on this offense. Can you kind of dig into like what that means as far as just everyone looks at the shooting, but like the other stuff that you do?
Yeah, I mean, talking about being a connector, just offense is like music of the eyes, right? Everything is on a string, and it kind of like somehow comes all together. And when it doesn't come all together, you guys definitely would be like, our offense looks like shit. So. I think in my aspect is I know who I am, whether that's I have to get to the right spacing so that Donovan has the right spacing, or set a ball screen so that we can get a matchup off someone. So I think connecting it in those ways of just thinking ahead, maybe probably the next play, not just standing and spacing, but whether it's cutting, moving. And I think Kenny's offenses have a ton of nuances through them where it's kind of like we talk the same language offensively, so it's very easy to pick up the concepts and ideas that he's preaching.
As players, when you're not stationary, how much more does that make you guys feel involved and obviously get more of a flow?
See, I wouldn't even say it's more or less like you feel involved. I'd more or less everything is you don't feel stuck in the mud, So guys don't have to overdo things to try and get separation or space. When you're constantly cutting and moving, that means the defense is constantly cutting and moving, and you're playing with the probability of them messing up a rotation and then giving you space. And as you can see, we have a ton of guys that can do a lot with just a little bit amount of space.
Playing at a faster pace was a point of emphasis last year. It is again this year. Do you believe that that's going to carry over better to the regular season this time around?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, why?
I just think, schematically, there's different emphasis this year that are going to, allow us to play faster.
Can you go into a little bit of that, or?
I mean, we have a new coach, so
right.
I mean, I feel like that's like it's 2 different schemes, So, one person sees one thing one way and the other person sees it the other. So I think, if you're completely all in on playing fast, then you're going to play fast. If it's something that you haven't really coached a lot, then you're going to hinder from doing that when times get rough. I mean, I don't know what Kenny's, how statistically fast he played in Brooklyn. I would assume it's pretty fast because when we played against him, it was like really fast. So I feel like the simple answer would be without shitting on anybody or saying anything, would be like we just have a different system in place to play fast. Did that answer your question? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like you were trying to drag that out of me.
What do you like about playing with Ty?
Ty Jerome?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Pass first point guard. Has a knack for just being, around the ball and being able to score in a multitude of different ways. Anytime you play with the pass first point guard, I think it's always exciting.
In what way is Darius different this year from last year? Not from an on-court standpoint, but behind the scenes, if at all.
Right. Let me finish another thing on Ty Jerome. He has been killing lately, so I just wanted to put it out there. He has been phenomenal. Since we've all gotten back here, and I didn't give him enough credit that, he is a pass-first point guard, but he can do so much more and doesn't get enough credit for that. But anyway, back to your question about Darius.
Darius,
Yeah.
not on the court, but off the court. Because he was talking a lot about just not being as happy last year because of all the stuff that he was dealing with.
I mean, fuck, if I had my jaw wired shut, I don't know how happy I could be. That kid has gone through a lot, right? You think about his journey from high school to college, that adversity, then college to the NBA, then, being on a franchise or on a team that, didn't win at first. And, then last year you kind of have an opportunity to be a part of, winning team and you're injury ridden, and that stuff is not easy. People got to understand we're humans too. But I think the best thing that Darius brings to this team is his joy when he does play the game. Like when he's out there flying around, electric, dropping dimes, making threes, yelling. He's like I think I'm a big little kid, but he's like one of those kids or dudes that I can look at where like, you're just as like goofy and playful as I am, and you feed off that type of energy, and that's super important. I think when he's playing that way and relaxed and fast and yelling and screaming and gassing people up, I think it's really good for him, and it's extremely good for us. I think he's been tremendous, even though he's played one preseason game, he was tremendous then, and he's been tremendous in practice, with being who he is.
What do you think about the comparison from Evan Mobley and Chris Bosh and what Chris Bosh was able to do with the Miami Heat in expanding his game to the perimeter, but also helping space the floor with bringing it up and helping those kinds of things when it comes to what Evan is doing?
Yeah, I think you guys saw it in the first preseason game. I know it's preseason, but I think you saw like little slips and glimmers of what he's been working on and what he can do. And I think Evan has really come to realize where his spots are. And I think with Kenny coaching, he's allowed with the spacing to give Evan the right space to get to those spots. And I mean that first quarter that he had against Chicago was I'm not gonna be like, oh wow, but that was impressive. I mean that was a real true professional showing of what he's been working on, and it was impressive. And I think there's more to see of that. And like, obviously people are going to go through some stuff and miss shots, but I think if you can continue to get to your spots, which Evan knows his spots and where he wants to get to, he's going to be a phenomenal player for us. He already is really, really good.